I grew up in a town about 45 to 50 miles south of Chicago. I was adopted. My biological mother had 4 kids. I was out of wedlock. She had no husband. My adoptive parents got divorced when I was 6. My first job was 8 years old, working in a poker house, serving drinks and food to guys that were, gambling. Was inside my first casino probably when I was 11. Was drunk the first time at 12. First taste of drugs when I was 12 or 13. I remember being 8 years old and I was in my grandmother's yard, and clear as day, I heard a voice say, "You're gonna do something great." And I can tell you now, almost 50 years later, the exact time of day, where I was at in that yard, what was around me. And growing up, that kind of stuck with me, always in the back of my mind. And I always thought, well, maybe I played sports. Maybe I'm gonna be famous as an athlete. So as I got older, I was a decent student. I was a good student, good athlete, but then partying kind of overtook all that. No exposure to church. Then I met Kim, that's my wife. And my wife came from a very Christian background. My in-laws, Dave and Connie, they realized, hey, this guy's here to stay, so let's do what we're called to do, and let's show him the love of Jesus. Later on, Kim and I were going through a very difficult time in our marriage, and that hole that had always been in my heart, that had always been in my being, felt like it was just screaming at me that you're not finding peace or solace in any of this. My in-laws had given me a Bible years before, and it sat on the back of the toilet. And as I was going through this low point, I happened to see that Bible and could hear a voice tell me, open it up, open it up. I was always afraid of the Bible because I thought it was some mystical book that was full of goofy stories about people that lived years and years ago. But my goodness, when I started reading it just the amount of peace that flooded me, I just knew that I had found the thing that would fill that void that I spent 46 years looking for. I had really felt that I had given my life to Christ. My father-in-law and my mentor baptized me in the river that day, and Kim and I found a church. We found a community, found that family that I had been looking for. But when you have no background in church, that a church is full of people, and people were flawed. I don't know what happened. We just stopped going. And I thought, I can do this on my own. When you stop worshiping corporately, it becomes very easy to let other things flow up and kind of take the place of the time that you had spent amongst other believers. And we moved out here to Paulding in 2015. I was mowing the grass one time and the neighbor came by, messed up my knee, and something happened. I turned wrong and fell on the ground. I heard this voice go, "Are you all right?" Well, it turned out my neighbor is Pastor Greg. So as I'm in my backsliding period, I'm just thankful that Greg never gave up. He never stopped inviting me. And then sometimes we would just talk. We would just have conversations. But he never gave up on me. But in my stubbornness, I just never gave in, I guess. But then one day he kind of changed the tactic on me. He said, "Hey, I host a men's group. Why don't you just come?" Here we are a year later. The men's group is now at my house. Kim and I are back to all in. Just being part of a movement that's really just about loving people and loving God. What greater mission and journey is there? That voice that the 8-year-old heard. He realized that great thing that he was going to do was he was going to say yes to Jesus. I'm Jeff Chandler. I once was a 1, but Jesus left the 99 to find me, and I'm so grateful he did.